Oh, I left my drink. I'll be right back. I left my drink. Alrighty. Am I here? Am I on the internet? Testing 1, 2. Check, check, check. This is a great way to start the stream. Annoy people. I think I'm on. Hello? Yeah, there we are. Weber Nets ahoy. Welcome, welcome everybody. How's it going? Hey, I'm on. That's right, I'm on. So, I'm going to try to play double duty today with this stream. And we're starting this from the ground up so you guys can see a grayscale to color process while learning about some color theory stuff. That's my goal. Kind of build this up a little bit at a time and see what happens. But how are you guys doing? So I need to thank, before I forget, Gavin Michelli, who sent this to me as a commission. I think he did. He penciled it, and Roland Paris inked it. Who Roland is amazing. He's done a ton of stuff. Old school, like just good inker. You know, there's like 7. There's like 3 left in the world. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. There's a few more than that. No, like, but like the spot blacks even have like, you know, a nice little pattern here behind our guy. But yeah, I love the drawing. It's very it's nice and detailed, and there's little you know, little bits of hatching, and it's just nice. It's just nice. It's really nice. And I'm flatting this myself today. And so, what do we want to do with this? I'm thinking, at least for this background, I can use the clip trickery. What I'm going to do here, actually, let's see. Let me get this brush, and we're going to extend this over there. Just like that. And we're going to extend this over here, just like that. There you go. Oh, let me put the, let's see, view, window, yeah, canvas, window, canvas, new window. And now we have, where do we put that? Right there. Let's see, I'm trying to make this pretty for you guys too. If I can line that up. There we go. Yeah, there we go. All right. Now we're cooking. Now anybody that shows up is like, what is he doing? When I'm like zoomed up to like some bones or something, you can see what's happening. So how do you color stuff? All right, number 1. These inks are on just a layer with the paper. I haven't done anything yet. In Clip Studio, if you go to File and then you go over to Edit and go to Convert Brightness to Opacity, it will convert brightness to opacity. What's going on? Am I in the middle of my camera? We're good enough. And you can also do that. I have a mysterious button here which does the same thing. You can set this up. This is the quick actions section. So you just hit that button right there. If you put it there, and it works the same way. But yeah, quick access is great for anything in the menus that you want to get to. Just stick it over here that you don't have a shortcut for. And I'm gonna start. This is also, by the way, Control Y toggles back and forth between the RGB and CMYK. I'm gonna go to View, Color Profile, Preview Settings, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm using this one, which you guys don't have, unless you downloaded it the other day from my Discord, which I got from Matt Hollingsworth. Well, I had it before then, but anyway, on the Discord I've got the profile for that. And it doesn't screw up the reds. I'm so excited. But anyway, we can't really see this drawing very well. So I'm going to put this at 50% gray. I'm going to try to get it exactly 50% and then guess after the fact. 55, I failed. Okay, 50. There we go. Hey, Professor, a rainy hug from Brazil. It's raining here too. Welcome. Welcome, Isabella. So let me start flatting. We'll get to the color stuff when we get to it. I gotta flat this first. So I'm gonna call this flats. And I'm gonna screw around with these bucket tool settings until I need to add this as an option, don't I? I should save this next time. So let's do that this time. Let's duplicate this. I'm going to relabel this Flatting Trickery. Alright. And we'll move this up there. I never really changed the bucket except for this. So what all do we want? We only want the connected pixels. We want gaps to be closed. We might need some tolerance. Do we need any? Yeah, we do need a little tolerance. We're going to turn tolerance up a little bit. We're going to turn area scaling up to something. Is it 2 or -2? I can't remember. We'll find that out too. I'm going to set the inks as a reference layer before I forget. So what happens if I try to fill that with a color now? Alright, that didn't work. Let's turn the tolerance down. Let's turn the gap close up. We need to refer multiple? Yeah, we do. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Alright, so we're going to turn the area. I'm going to explain all of this and show you guys a setting when it's done, because I don't know what I'm doing right now. Trying to find how this works. That's pretty darn close. So let's turn the inks down and see. Whoops, that's not the inks. This is the inks. Oh, there we go. That's like right down the middle. That's pretty much exactly what I want. Great. So now that that is functional, is that on the right layer? It is. Let's do this. First, there's so many drawings this does not work for. And so I very rarely ever talk about it. But when it does, it's great. So we're going to check this and see where it did something stupid. Sorry if you heard that noise. But it really, once I get this silhouette, then everything else inside is going to be way faster. And so, and Roland is very clean with his inks. So I'm just looking for everywhere that it's screwy. And your settings for this are going to change depending on the line art. But for now, if anybody wants a screenshot, here's the bucket that I use to fill that, okay? Apply to connected pixels only. Closed gap is aggressive. The tolerance is 7. You'll have to play with that depending on the inks. Area scaling will determine whether or not it fills inside or outside the line. 3 pixels is good for me. And refer to multiple because I don't know. Because it didn't work when it wasn't checked. Let me screenshot this for like Twitter later or something. There we go. I'm going to post this. Let's see. Flattening Trickery Fill Tool for CSV. There we go. Let's see. You pinned the CMYK profile. Thank you, Chris. You're struggling to migrate to Clip. It's great for drawing, but its brushes are quite temperamental. It's different. It's different. If you're one of those like really artistic brushes people, I'm not judging. I'm assuming that you draw like this. But yeah. It works for me. But yeah, if you're used to Photoshop, it's a little bit more control maybe, but I don't know. It works better if you create a copy of the inks as a reference layer, shrink it by a pixel, and fill it with pure black. It does sound like that would work better. In the meantime, I'm gonna do it my dumb way. But yeah, do it his way. That would be better. Just looking for weirdness. There's some weirdness. It worked really well for this, I gotta say. Whoops. Because outlining this would have taken me 15 minutes and I'd still be wondering what's going on. There we go. Whoops. There we go. Okay, I think that's good enough for... That's good enough where we are right now. I don't like that color. It doesn't really matter, but I don't want to, whoops. I just don't want to see that weird color, whatever it was. Is this feature available in Krita? I don't know. Like, probably. But I couldn't tell you for sure. So I can tell you my early thought process on this, I did say I was going to go grayscale to color, didn't I? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do this all in grayscale. Except, I actually want this to be the dark part and the background to be light. My theory on this one, which I'll get to the details of it later, but I want this to be like a very sinister, dark, very evil, extra evil looking Skeletor. And so like there's a guy that paints in the comic world that I can't think of his name. He did some Moon Knight that I talked about a couple months ago for you weirdos that remember everything that I say. But anyway, we're going to start in black and white because every color in the rainbow can be represented along this line right here, okay? Most people don't realize that there actually is an association like that. And this is a much easier system to start in because value is the most powerful of all three coloring dimensions. But, so that's why we're starting with values. We're going to introduce one dimension at a time today. All right, so we're starting in black and white. Then we're going to add one color. We're going to play with the saturation, use that. And then after that, we'll add some more colors. So hopefully this helps you guys that have a problem with, like, how do you pick colors? How do you whatever? It's always relative. And hopefully this lesson will make some sense of that. So I want this base color right now to basically be as dark as I want the colors to be. And I get that question a lot. Like, you know, what is too dark, right? Too dark is when, what are you guys seeing? I need to see. Yeah. So, sorry, bear with me. I need to move this there and this there. So how dark is too dark? When you have a hard time seeing the inks. I get stuff all the time that looks like this. They're like, aren't my colors pretty? Uh-huh. So like the guy drew a pretty drawing. You want to be able to see it. Okay. So we're going to go dark, but not too dark. How dark is that? For those of you that want to know, it's at like 30 out of 100. Right? Whatever that number is. Is that right? Yeah, 0 to 100. Yeah. So we're like a third of the way up. And I'm thinking that the front of this, I'm going to keep actually, to start, kind of low contrast with itself. Like nothing too crazy within the figure and the drawing. Because I want the background to be this like really intense, like fiery, something intense. I don't even know what color it's going to be at. But I think it would be nice to have like a really saturated background and then not in the front, which is the opposite of what a lot of people just naturally think. So I'm trying to flip all the ways that you guys assume this works every time, right? In PS, you can calibrate brushes. In CSB, they're like, I'm ready. You'll not change anything here. I don't know about that. Like, I mean, I'm not a brush expert by any stretch in Photoshop. I mean, in Clip. But there is a ton of flexibility in there of what's possible. But anyway, just as a real quick, just aside here, I want to show you guys kind of what I'm thinking before we get into more flats. So like, I want to kind of follow, and this is just, again, a really quick color sketch of like, or a value sketch of like how this guy could look cool and have the lighting shapes match and also look as cool as he does. And like, that, something like this, and then of course it would be around all this stuff. But like this sort of thing, if you do it early and you get an idea about like what you want to do with the values, it's going to help narrow things down throughout the entire rest of this thing, right? It definitely isn't easy to customize brushes in. I don't guess it's easy. It's just, it takes some patience. Like, I'm going to try and then change this and then try and then fiddle with that. And like, it does take a lot of, you know, patience. But, saw a cool inked art piece followed by how to understand colors better. Immediately joined. Yeah. So, we're going to work toward this sort of vibe, you know? Maybe not quite this much light. I want him probably more shadow. So it'll probably be more rim lighty than this, but it's close. We don't need that for now, though. I'm calling this done already. Love it. Thank you, Mr. Comics Deal. So we gotta flat some more stuff, unfortunately. And most of this, let's see, what do I really need to separate here? Let's separate everything big. Let me follow my own advice. So I'm gonna separate him from the chair first, and then go from there. And because of the selections that I already made, and because I have that separation and I've got the tools set up right, I never have to trace the same line twice. Okay? If you do, you're doing something wrong. The values at this point are not hugely important. I just need the colors separated more than anything. And that'll help me speed this up later. And I don't want to, whoops. I don't want to go through and flat every little piece of this separately, like I did the rest of it, because I think it would just take a little bit longer than I want it to take. But I may be wrong about that. But yeah, for now, we're just, anywhere they meet is the only place that I'm worried about actually tracing that line. Because otherwise, the bucket tool will respect what's there. And I'm backing off to see where we are. Do I want to include? Yes, I do want to include. I think this is a piece of fabric. I gotta look up some reference for him. I mean, is the cape like dark purple, bluish, and then the skin is... I gotta just look it up. I mean, I saw him a million times as a kid. Somehow, I don't remember, like, all the specifics. Alright, I am curious what happens. Is this any faster? So if I switch to the bucket tool, to the trickery bucket tool, and whoops, set the inks as a reference instead, and make sure I'm on the right layer, does this work faster than what I was doing? No, it's kind of annoying. But yeah, this I don't think I'm gonna do. I'll separate the big shapes on him, but I'm not doing all these like jillion little things. We'll just detail that like a coloring book. How you guys doing? Everybody good? What's your thinking process behind coloring? Like how you choose which colors work with this vibe, tone, this piece? That is the point of this stream. You're going to find out. But I can't talk about that and do this at the same time. So you'll have to bear with me until we get to the color part. The colors that I'm putting down right now have nothing to do with anything, okay? Like I'm literally just separating things, and that's it. I will choose colors that matter once this is done. So don't think too hard about what I'm doing right now. This is the boring part. This is the boring part. I don't know. If you can zone out with this and put on some like I need to put on some music. I might not be able to think and listen to music at the same time. Let's see, what else? So I'm separating the things that the artist would just consider to be separate, thrown from the guy, whatever, you know. Big picture stuff at the moment. And we're gonna break this down piece by piece. I'm holding shift to add to the selection, and I'm holding alt to remove. With my other hand is on a keyboard. It stays on the home row, ASDF, and it doesn't move. All the shortcuts have been moved to that hand. So I don't have to look at the keyboard, and I don't have to think about much. All right. Let's see. What else needs to be separated? Yeah, so like this whole throne situation, I'm going to treat as one big thing. It's all like bone and rock or whatever that is. He does have a separate little skull back here. When I get tired of drawing, I switch to the polygonal tool. And then I'll switch back, and then I'll switch back. Whatever I'm in the mood for. Let's see. All right, so stuff that I know is going to be a problem to work around, like this thing that he's holding. It's going to be hard to like paint around that little line, and so again, like I'm just putting down some different colors. I'm gonna use a little bit of color with this just so that I don't accidentally double up and use the same gray twice, because there's only 100 options in grayscale. And what else? So like gauntlets from his hands. One question that I get quite often is like, I'm a flatter. What should I be separating? How much is too much? That's going to depend on who you're working with. But if there's a shot that two things are a different color, or if it's just two things, I would expect it to be a different color. But like whether, you know, you do like this ornamentation or whatever, like yeah, probably so with some colorist and maybe not with others. He has so much crap he's wearing. This isn't gonna actually take that long though. Just happened to pop up while I sat down to color some pages. Hey, it's been a while. Good to see you, man. Yeah, hey Jason, how's it going? Let's see. Prepping breakfast. Skeletor loves to accessorize. For real, for real. Okay, so what all is he wearing? Let's classify all of this because I guess it is gonna need to be a little bit separate. Do I just want to separate his clothes from his skin and call it? The more I sit here and debate it, the longer it's gonna take. So do, 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 do. Now would be a good time to insert ads, according to YouTube, to all 50 of you. No wonder. It's like, hey, we don't have their money. We would like their money. I'm not going to be inserting any ads today. If there's any ads that get inserted, blame YouTube. If you're just joining, I'm in the process of separating everything on this. The colors are not really relevant. They're just for the flats. I'm going to pull up a picture of him because I have forgotten more than I remember. Skeletor He-Man. Oh my god, the memories. Memories. Oh, he's just purple. We won't do that on this. He's gonna be cooler than that. But yeah, for the animated show, all this crap was purple. Yeah, this one's a little bit more dressed up than the cartoon, I think. Let's see. Are these things? There we go. Maybe I had the tolerance on the closing the gap stuff too high. Because this does actually seem to not be terrible. We'll see. I reserve the right to go back and just flat this like an old man. This guy's wearing some of that stuff that the Space Marines have, huh? the 40K, is this a crossover? Whoops. Why isn't that? There we go. And that is all that color. All you guys are going, how does he do this? Is it magic? What the settings for the bucket tool are right there on the right. You should screenshot it. All right, do I want this to be a different color? Probably. I gotta say, I'm kind of impressed. But again, it required a really clean drawing, which so many times you don't really get. There's hatching and stuff going on, and anyway. But yeah, welcome everybody. This is the boring part, sorry. What else? What else? We got the belt. Sorry, I got lost. Like, where am I? Alright. Is that all that? Doot, 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 doot. And what else? Oh, we got all this stuff. And let's see, we've got the cape and the things he wears on his leg, and I think that's probably all that I need to separate as far as the flats. Famous last words. We can always do more later, but I'm trying to do as little as possible. And again, I'm only concerned with the lines that are all not separated already, because everything else is, it's the bucket tool is respecting the line in between, so you don't have to separate all that stuff. And let's see. Whoops. Oop. That cuts off there. All right. And his face is a different color from the rest of his body because he's a skeleton man. And he didn't have eyes in the show, but I think he's gonna have red eyes here. All right. So I think that's enough as far as like flatting separations. I should probably, actually, let me do this now. I'm gonna want it later. I'm gonna want this line to be separate from everything behind it. And these rocks. I'm just looking for things that like I won't be able to easily paint around. You know what I mean? It's like I'm throwing colors all over the place and there's like jagged edges and stuff I'm trying to avoid, then it's hard to do. And so anywhere that's going to make that more of a stencil than you know, me actually trying to paint it is really all that you all that I need. Do 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 do. Let's see. We all know yellow would be. Let's see. I don't know what that's referring to. It's been too long since I've checked the chat. Have you ever done any manga colorings? If so, what did you think of them? It's not any different than coloring anything else to me. Personally. And hey, Igor, how's it going? I think you need to fix the color on his right foot. We don't do back seating here when the drawing's not done, but thank you. And let's see, what else? Oh, the Brazilians are talking Brazilian. I know you don't speak Brazilian. Okay. Anyway, where was I? Never mind the Brazilians. I love the Brazilians. You guys are like my you guys are, I don't even, you're like fourth, fifth on my of all the countries that watch my channel. Brazil is way up there. And let's see, what else? What else? This rock. Also, when things are drawn in straight lines, I tend to jump to the polygonal lasso. Feels like less work somehow. Okay, so these are the flats. These colors have nothing to do with anything. They're just there so that I can go in here and grab that color or grab that color and do whatever. You're going to see it turn red a lot during this video today. I'm hitting the letter Q, which is the quick mask, which is just showing you the selection, and it's easier to see than these little marching ant things, which I also hide often. So you'll see like me do something that feels like magic, like staying inside the lines when there's no clipping mask. It's because the selection is hidden. Okay. It's shown, it's hidden. It's shown, it's hidden. All right. That'll save a commenter 12. And 1 second. Let me check something real quick. Yeah, you guys want to hear a really terrible accent, so no, I'm not even gonna try it. I was gonna apologize in Portuguese, but I don't even know if I can. I don't know if I can do that. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for hanging out. I see y'all. Let's see. I see color, flats, change, big something. Sorry, I don't I'm trying, James. I'm trying. Let's see. We have Google Translate for a reason. Does anyone color or make flats for medium and large publishers? Oh. Looking for work. Yeah. I know enough Spanish to pick up a little bit of this Portuguese, but not much. I don't speak either one very well. All right. If you're just joining, welcome. We're done flatting. Thank God. All right. So the flats are now going to be set as the reference layer instead of the inks. The inks should only be set as your reference layer if you're using flatting trickery, okay? If you're using the bucket tool to like fill things and try to whatever. I'm so dismissive of that still. Like in my soul somewhere, it's like, this is rare. Like kids these days, we had to trace it all with the lasso in my day. Anyway. So these are the flats. I am going to make a new layer on top. I'm going to fill it with 50% gray, which I'm going to try to guess perfectly again because it's fun. Where is 50? Is it right there? 55 again. I'm off 5 pixels. Okay. We're going to fill this with, we're going to make the flats reference. Once you're done flatting, your ink shouldn't be the reference anymore. So we're going to make the flats the reference layer. So now, even though I'm going to be on this layer on top, this is my base colors. And when I'm using this version of the fill tool, it says refer only to editing layer. That's not what I meant. Magic wand. That's what I'm talking about. So now on the magic wand, and this is very key. This is why I use Clip Studio. We're not on the flats layer right now, guys. We're not on the flats layer, but I can choose from the flats layer. There it is. There it is. Because the wand is set to refer to the flats layer. Isn't that cool? Anyway, if you want like an actual coherent video and like step by step, I do have a couple on YouTube of how I color in Clip Studio. I'd recommend checking them out. But I appreciate you. Not right now. Don't go there now. Anyway, the refer to layer thing is another thing people ask about in the comments. Yes. Most of these streams is just me pre-answering things to prevent comments. Is that why I'm not getting engagement? That's it? You just anyway. But now we're to the fun part. And I think on this one, I said this earlier if you were in here, I'm going to start with a dark color in the foreground. And I'm going to leave this light color. I'm actually going to pull this light color a little bit closer to the dark color. Just a little bit. And I'm going to get a brush of some kind. That's too big. I need I need a fast brush is what I need. That's pretty fast. That's going to be slow. If we make it small, does that work any better? It doesn't. It's still jittery as hell. This is the only... Someone said this earlier. They were like, isn't Clip like janky with brushes? Mm-hmm. If you have like a really, really texture brush, like, yes. It doesn't use your GPU, even though we've had graphics cards for a very long time. They're dead set that no one actually needs that. But yeah, my thinking on this one is that he's just going to be backlit. All right? He's all going to be in dark, and then maybe we'll do a rim light at the end to make it look real cool. But for now, this is it. We just want to do this. So what am I doing? All right? So what I'm doing is in this drawing, there is... Let me label this as nodes. Stream nodes, even. You see this shape right here? Let's get on top. You see that shape? You see that shape? Like, this is what makes this drawing work from like a composition standpoint. He's pointing to his head. Going, this is the focal point of this drawing. And then he circled it for you just to make sure that you noticed. All right? This is textbook gorgeous composition, right? So, as I'm thinking about that shape, I'm only playing with values right now, right? I only have really choices of white and gray and black. And as I'm going through this drawing today, let's say we have white, we have black, we have gray, which you can't really see because we're right at 50% gray. There's 75%, there's 25%. This is all you need, okay? To start with, just do that. All right, you're not going to color with black, obviously. So, like, you're going to actually start, like, lighter than that. But along this drawing, along the edges that are not near the focal point, I'm keeping the distance between my values low, okay? As we're going up this scale, all right? along the edges, there's not a big jump from here to here. There's not as big of a jump from here to here as there is from here to here, right? So like this being very dark and this area behind it being very light creates like the maximum amount of tension that you can have between those two values, right? Now, notice that this isn't white, okay? I'm leaving a little bit of room for white here. And in fact, I'm going to darken even that. I don't want to be that light yet because we want to save our light values for the light values. White is special. We save it for the very, very end, or at least I do. So anyway, as we go away from this point in this drawing, if I can actually draw on it somehow, where's it at? Oh, clip is saving or something. I'm recording this as a video and clip. So I want you to think about this as like the epicenter of this painting, right? And the closer that I get to this area, the more I'm going to play around with this, you know, lots and lots of contrast. Now that doesn't mean that only the lights and only the darks are going to be here. I'm going to spread them all around. But the biggest density of that is going to be right in the center. And the further I get from that point, the closer these things are going to get in value to what's already there. I'm not going to be drawing a lot of attention to like his toes. Like, God, I'm not even going to make that joke. Anyway, with me so far? Do these tutorials work for those that don't have clip? Yeah, this is all the same stuff in like every app. It doesn't really matter. So the hardest part is managing values. Well, this is what we're going to talk about today. And so on this drawing, and I'm gonna, yeah, that's about as dark as I want that to be. So relative to this gray, we need to choose a color for his head, okay? Now, if you didn't know any better, you might come in here and go, whatever. You're just going to fill it. Then you see how, like, crazy intense that is against the gray? Like, his skull doesn't look to be sitting in the dark anymore. Why? Because I didn't keep in mind, you're like, oh, his skull is light. It's bright. It's brighter. Okay, it just has to be brighter. Okay, so how do I get this to read as brighter? I'm just going to raise it a little bit. Okay, I'm going to create a little bit of contrast here. Just a little bit. All right, it's brighter. We're on the way to bright. We don't have to go all the way there yet. All right. And what else? This guy he has bones. He's wearing bones, which I'm assuming are the same color as his. They're not, though. Do we want to take creative liberty on this or not? I think we might. Because if there's enough purple, it's not going to matter that those bones are light, right? I know they're purple in the original cartoon. That's what I'm up against. Take it, Liberty. Yeah. Oh, hey, Gavin, how's it going? Yeah, I think he's gonna be a little meaner. He's gonna be a little meaner. He's gonna have some. He's got stuff going down here. All right, now I do want to separate this skull from everything else on his knee, since I know I'm going to do that a little bit lighter. And I don't even want to start with these this light, I think. I want to bring that down some more. I want this to be so subtle. The goal for today is subtle until it's not. It's going to go from subtle to really not subtle. That's the plan. And thanks for stopping in, Gavin. Appreciate you. Gavin Michele, by the way, is the guy that drew this. He's in the chat. And Roland Paris is here also. What's going on? It has been a long time. It's been forever since I've seen these guys, but they are amazing artists, somewhat local to me. They're in the Gulf Coast down here with us. So, but yeah. Yeah, you guys should look up Roland Paris and Gavin and check out their work. I linked their stuff in the description today, I believe. All right. So, I'm going to show you guys what I'm looking at. I am looking at this. So, can you see that his skin, I don't even know, whatever that is lighter than his costume. The purple. Okay? That's what we're keeping in mind here. The blue is lighter than the purple. All right? So we're going to select his skin. Minus the hair, which I didn't do yet. I'll change that in a little bit. I don't feel like it. What else? Oh, this is not that color. Yeah, there we go. And again, I'm going to lighten this a little. Just a little to show that it's different, and that's about it. I think that can go a little bit darker. And it's going to be a lot of pushing and pulling from here on out, you know? So far, so good, though. So you see now that I've established my base values, but my original plan is still the original plan. He's still darker than everything behind him. That's the key. Because this will give you rails. Like it will narrow your options for colors. It will actually, through process of elimination, you can help yourself at this point. And what I mean by this is, again, let's say that I'm going to color, what do you call it? These skulls here. All right? Or this stuff. I'm always going to shift that color from where it is. I'm not just going to grab a color and throw it in there. I want to see if I start pulling this tension, how high does it need to go, you know, before it doesn't make sense anymore, you know? And so just kind of get a feel for, does this look like he's sitting in the dark with light colored bones? Like it kind of does to me, you know? Is it white? It's nowhere near white. This is 50% gray, okay? But this is going to give us a lot of room to operate when we actually do get to some white on here. It's going to be very intense. 80s colors are, yeah. Those cartoons were designed to just mesmerize kids into buying action figures. You know, it's like Coco Melon today. Except they're like doing it, they're like algorithmically frying kids' brains. All right. So for the highlights on this, I'm just going to start drawing some light on this and start rendering from here. So I'm going to put a new layer on this. I'm going to call this rendering. It's really just going to be, it's light. All right. It's just light, various amounts of light. And let's just get going and see what happens. So I'm going to start I'm going to get my local color. Again, I'm always starting from where I'm starting from. I'm not just going to grab a color and hope it's the right one, you know? So I'm going to start my base color. I'm going to get halfway to white. This is a pro tip for you. Get halfway to white. And the next time you want some more highlights, get halfway to white. And then by the time you actually get ready for white, then you're good to go. So anyway, I'm going to go about halfway. And I'm going to pick a washy watercolor brush. I'm going to make sure that my wand is set to selection for referred layers. Make sure flats is set as a reference layer. And we're going to start doing some... I'm going to start with like where I think the light is like very generally not really specific. It's going to be on this side. And actually, I had somebody show me a trick in Clip the other day that I think I want to take a look at real quick. I'm going to duplicate this subtool. This is a paid brush that why is that going so slow? There we go. Bear with me a second. I need to bring this up here. There was a setting that, like, it said something like it respects the density of the paint that's on the canvas already. And so you don't get that, like, what's it called? The blending mode is compare density. I want to try this. I haven't actually tried this. All right, so this is with compare density on. I'm going to make something and then make something and then make something. And you see how it's not doing that doubling effect unless I really push down and want it? Versus, does this do, yeah, so you see how this one, even if I go light, it immediately starts adding, whereas here, with this brush, it's comparing it to what's there. It's very subtle. I don't even know if you guys can notice this more than I can feel it. But yeah, I'm going to change this to Procreate wash. Compare density mode. I can't write. There we go. But yeah, I think that'll make for just smoother paintiness and less digital stuff. This is too long. We're going to call this V2. There we go. But if you start yeah. Basically, if you start with one of these brushes, it doesn't matter what brush you use. I get that quite a bit, but this is a paid brush from, if you Google that name, Krupuk Wash or Krupuk, however you say that. If you Google that, you will see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I want to do like, I kind of want, this might be like a multi-stream thing, because I kind of want to do an insane amount of rendering on this. Just to, because it's awesome drawing and can like withstand it. Not every drawing can. Not every drawing is meant to be heavily rendered. Like, I use this example all the time, but like, think about, if you try to like render Fred Flintstone, like, he's gonna look weird. Like, he's not designed for that, you know. And I'm also just switching to the eraser or transparency in order to paint things away. But the great thing about working like this is that it really goes fast as far as the rendering goes, because I'm not having to go in and think about, you know, however many millions of colors this thing will end up with. If you touch the canvas, let go, hold shift, and then touch the canvas again, you get straight lines. And I'm going to paint some of that away. Same exact way. Touch the canvas, come down here, touch the canvas. Screw it up because you forgot to switch to transparency. Oh, is that going to... Yeah, it's not. It's going like all or nothing. So I don't want it to be that. I'm just going to paint some of that away. I'm not worried about it being like not perfectly straight because, it looks more natural if it's not. And this is a cylinder, and so the light source, even if it's on the left from the front, is still not just going to be on the left. It's going to be reflecting from the middle, actually. Yeah. Wait until he makes the magic of Sudoku scheme. That's right. I did use Sudoku as a color theory stand-in one time. I don't even remember what it is now, but it'll come to me. Oh, by the way, if you want to isolate a layer and just view that layer, if you hold down Alt and click the eyeball, you can like quickly grab like that color I was using, or that gray that I was using. And I'm gonna spread it around. So I'm gonna start big shapes first. If you start with big shapes, it makes the rest of it easier. I will probably I'll probably put darken these eyes and noses on this. I don't know if they're here, I forget. If y'all intended that to be like spot blacks in the eyes and nose of the up here. I'm guessing maybe that was the intention, but let me know. And even what I'm doing here is all less than 50% gray, or it's almost 50% gray. This is like, yeah, not quite. It's like 44% gray. But by limiting yourself like that, though, it makes it easier to me to sort of build up the light slowly in stages, as opposed to going straight to some really bright color. Because with this kind of range, like, my expectation later is to come in with I mean, it won't necessarily be on this, but like, look at how much value difference there is. When you start throwing around those really bright highlights, like, because everything else is so dark, they like really, really pop. Is Clip Studio similar to Krita? Yeah, it's real similar. You spotted blacks for the skulls. I actually meant here. Yeah, I'll just do it and show you what I mean. Unless they want to glow. If you want them to glow, but I was talking about these guys. But I'm assuming they're not glowing if these eyes aren't glowing, Look at me, I'm an inker. That was somewhere else, yeah. I'm stepping all over your stuff, Roland. I can't take it anymore. If Clip Studio goes any further into AI, you'll be using Krita. You've already ditched Adobe. I guess that makes sense for some people. I can see why you would say that. I do. I totally do. I'm trying to get out of Photoshop. But it's going to be like everybody's going to jump on that bandwagon at some point, to some level. Except maybe Procreate, who said they're not. Anyway, where was I? We were doing something else here. We're up here. But yeah, I'm actually planning on keeping like the sharp, like, kind of bite that bone has. I'm saving that for like that'll be an extra layer of highlights. We'll start doing that. And also, when you're doing stuff like teeth, like, make your brush like the width of the teeth so that you're not there forever. Like, just I am almost always trying to change my brush for it, like, to fit the mold of the space that I'm in. It's just like if I was trying to sculpt this. It's like if I wanted like soft, chunky looking shapes, then I wouldn't go grab, like, I'm not a sculptor, but I wouldn't go grab like a really small knife and be like, it's like I would get a big tool or my hands to shape things. And so, like, at this stage, that's kind of all I'm thinking is we're building up the rough shapes so that we can do the fine details, later. And these guys have drawn this in a way where you can really, like, feel these bones. Like, you can see where, there's a little condyle sticking out. There's whatever. It's like this stuff is well constructed. So it makes my job tremendously easier when that is the case. And even like having some of these teeth like a little bit brighter than the other, like, makes them seem crooked. The light's not catching them evenly enough, But the cool thing about working this way is, like, whatever I decide toward the end of this piece, as far as like how bright things are, how dark things are, whatever, like all of this is going to come through. Like I'm going to be able to work in modes on top of this so that there's nothing that I'm doing in here that is going to get lost, you know, in that process. And I'm also trying to, you know, I'm brightening it along the points that are round. Like as they get round toward us, I'm sort of treating the light as if it's a little bit behind the camera to the left for this light source, basically. Because of the shadows on the right on this. It's not, it doesn't have a super strong direction as far as like, oh, if you don't do the light this specific way, it's going to be wrong. Like it's drawn in a way, and the inks are in such a way that there's quite a bit of flexibility in your color options here, or your lighting options, I should say. And again, like I'm making my brush about the width of these bones. So when I make this stroke, I'm not having to like, oh, I wonder if that's gonna, you know, it just works because the brush is already that size. How are we doing? Hour 15? I might need to jump up and take a quick break, but I'm having a lot of fun with this today. So we're going to keep going for a little while. Let me finish these bones, and then I'll step away for a quick break, and we'll come back. You guys doing good? Everybody good? Questions, comments, concerns? If you're new here, welcome. Audience is like twice the size as usual today. I don't know where you guys came from. This one's gonna be, I'm hoping I recorded, I think I set this to record. Yeah, I'll have the time lapse in clip for this too, which I will turn into a much more coherent video at some point. I assume the video will stay up so you can watch it later. Yeah, I'll keep this online. Let's see. Subscribe, everyone. Oh yeah, thank you. Like and subscribe, guys. Forgot I'm supposed to say that. Yeah, I got really good and comfortable with bones working on this story a year or two ago. Nightfall, The Cemeterians was the name of the story, where the bones of the earth overrun, or the souls of earth overrun hell, and all of the buried bodies, the world starts like turning to bone. Like things just start becoming bone. And it is one of the most fricked up stories that I've ever worked on, but it's one of my favorites. The art is just sinister to look at, and it's like, but yeah, every page just, there was so many bones in that book. So many bones. So yeah, I got very good with that. Yeah, join the Discord. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. You watch these lives more than once, way more. Really interesting. What are you watching for? Um. All right, so I'm gonna take a quick break, guys. Stretch my legs, and I'm gonna come back, and we'll keep working on this. I'm gonna leave that right there. And where's my thing? Here we go. Use it to study and create your own step by step. I love it. I'll be right back. Testing. There we go. All right. Thanks for waiting, guys. Appreciate it. All right. Let's see. There we go. Sorry. You guys don't want to hear that. All right. Where were we? Questions, comments, concerns? So this side of the bowl of bones that he is sitting in will actually be a little brighter than the other side. because the light's facing that way. I mean, I'm going like for uber realism on this today. We'll see. We'll see where it ends up. And thanks again. I want to thank Gavin Michelli. I don't even remember which one of us emailed the other one first, or I don't even know how this came about. I can't remember now. We were talking about doing something else, and then anyway, but yeah, really thanks a lot for letting me work on this and on the stream, and use it to do some learning. Just listening to the riveting commentary. You can't watch? Oh no, I'm sorry. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do this background around him because I'm not going to want to later. Like, backgrounds are fun. But not after, they're not as fun as, you know, muscled, veiny guys here. Let's see. Yeah. But yeah, this will I do tend to work on backgrounds first. The other thing, the other reason for that, beyond just not wanting to have to do all this later, is you end up, if you do the background first, you end up sort of creating a pattern that you can then break, you know. And when you don't have something there to work with, then to me you're kind of taking guesses, you know. And I'm also being strategic about like how detailed this is gonna be, because obviously as we get further down the image, it's not just we're using less contrasty colors, but I'm also doing less. Like, there'll be less detail down here than there will be, you know, around his head and neck and all that stuff, the rest of everything else. Can you please show your tool properties for the brush so you can screen grab them? I never figure out why mine can't seem to look like yours. Yeah. If you it's nothing fancy. 100% opacity. The blending mode, I did change on this today to compare density, which is a different feel. It's a little bit smoother, less digital looking. The brush density is 90. Yeah, I mean, that's it. And I'm trying to think about what to talk about. Yeah, the other trick that I do a lot, and I'm doing it on this one, is I'll hit the letter C, which switches to the transparency, which lets you paint with transparency. So it's basically like erasing without having to switch to the eraser tool. It stays the same as your brush, and so it just feels a lot more natural to me. And there's something, I don't know what it is about rocks that's so fun. I think it's because they're organic. Like, you can't really screw them up too bad. Like, anything you do is gonna be like, oh, look at the texture of the rock, and it's like, it's just a brushstroke, but it's like it's one of those things that like is just very satisfying to color. Alrighty, this is coming together. Alright, something like that to start. We can always do more rock cleanup later. Oh, there's a little bit, there's a little bit down here that I didn't do much with. I don't know if I like that much light down there, actually. I'm going to pull that back some. Yeah. Yeah, that's better. All right. So I think for the background, that's a good start. I'm gonna do a little bit back here, and our skull buddy here. Yeah, we have the zygomatic arch going into the maxilla and the nasal bone, and the vomer's in there, and the sphenoid is here. This is the frontal bone, and these are the temporal bones. This is my other job leaking out. I do a lot of craniosacral work on people, so I know all those bones. Yeah, I'm a craniosacral therapist also as of May, for anybody new around here. If you're local to the Mississippi Gulf Coast and need your skeleton rearranged, come find me. Alrighty. The thing about working this way that I like is like the values can be in the ballpark, and a lot of this is just going to be detailed because we can still push and pull the values later on top. But yeah, let's go ahead and start here. And this rendering on him, again, like, it's a very soft light. I'm not intending this to be like this super intense thing. Like, we'll have some super intense lights, but I want the detail in there so that it'll be there when I get to pushing and pulling all these values around. And when we get to the color stage, we're going to do it one at a time. I'm going to show you guys how to build up a palette from one color. And I think you will like it. And you know, he wears this like really deep purple, so like I'm not thinking about, you know, getting highlights that are like this on there yet, right? I'm again keeping all of this really subtle for now and just letting it build up like one kind of level at a time. Do 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 do. Are you using the subscription based? No, it's just the one time. It's regular old cheap Clip Studio. um, when I was learning how to paint rocks, I was so into it I forgot I already learned and can paint them. And when I learned that my mind supposedly plays tricks on itself to relive some moments. Yeah, our minds like finding safe spaces. And safe space might be watching The Office for the 40th time. It might be rewatching one of my videos. It might be tricking yourself into thinking you forgot something you need to learn again. Our minds are funny things. Very funny things. And they have a lot more control over your body than you've been taught if you're in the Western Hemisphere. Would let's see. You're showing off. Yeah, probably side of the bones. Yeah. Um, would this grayscaling method work with a regular page with several panels, or is it more optimal for full page pieces? Really good question, Nestor. Um, I don't really work with grayscale on interiors very much because there's such a they're usually under such time constraints that it's not always possible. Um, and also, usually on interiors, there's less, let's say, editorial, input, because they're just, or at least it has been that way for me. But covers, you might hear a little bit more. Oh, let's push this, let's pull that, like whatever. And so for covers like meant to be so, visually striking, I like to leave myself some wiggle room, you know, with for what to do color wise, like whatever. And so like with this, it's sort of like I wanted. Sorry, I'm talking slow because I really have a hard time thinking and doing this. Trying to come up with what I'm saying. Um, but to answer your question, which I have ran off and forgot here. About grayscale. It's really just a time thing. Um, but with covers, I like them, of course, to be very punchy, or covers, prints, pinups, all this kind of stuff, right? Like you want it to be, um, you want it to stand out on the shelf. And oh, by the way, do you guys notice the texture difference here? It's the same brush, and I get a lot of questions about, oh, the texture, you need to use a texture brush. Like, no, just paint it. Just paint it differently, you know? Anyway. Does that answer your question? Maybe. um, I don't know. It's just fun. Sometimes it's fun to work this way. And in this case, actually, the point is to show you guys the color theory steps one at a time, you know? And so, anyway. What else? I'm doing all of his clothes first. And like things that are meant to be sharp and like have some bite, like you see that I'm using like harder. I'm making the brush smaller and making the edges harder. And it starts to look like, oh, those might be made of metal or something instead of whatever the rest of this is made of, right? You want it to look different. Do 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 do. You can always use this grayscale approach on everything if you wanted to. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, and maybe somebody out there does. It's I've said this a lot on here, and I mean no disrespect to anyone when I say this, but there are a lot of tutorials on YouTube that are designed as if your time is not important. And in comic books, you can't work that way. Yeah, I think we said this last week, didn't we? Where it was like, what was it last week? Oh yeah, where it was like, let's put the hair on a layer and the eyeballs on a layer and the gauntlets on a layer, and it's like, why? you know, and it's like this is someone that has developed a process that can take all day. And it's so different when you're actually working on especially interiors, like, you know. Um so yeah, it's fun stuff. Yeah, this is a great drawing. I want to reiterate that. Coloring is also much easier when the drawing is fantastic. Um, I had the opportunity of working alongside Mike Azevedo for a little bit during an event in Brazil. He said he had like a month and a half for illustration for Riot. Yeah, exactly. Um, Again, like hair, just trying to get it to catch the light there and make it look like hair. But yeah, I'm actually not a big fan of changing up brushes for every little thing. Like that's another thing that is, it's more of a time sink and a skill issue than it is about the brushes. You know, make a few brighter than the rest of them for so that it looks natural. Yeah, this is gonna be awesome when it's done. Can I say that? Am I allowed? It's gonna be very nice. I think it's gonna be great. Pretty sure I have a kitten trying to break into my room. My room is not kitten proof, and they are in the um like burn it all down stage. I don't know. Like they're just like trying to take out my house apart. Is that a thing that cats do? Just kittens? We didn't really have kittens last. I mean, they were small, but not this small. And these are like, they're not messing around. They're like, oh, terracotta pot, you like that? Okay, now it's in 12 pieces. Oh, you guys haven't seen Ember and give me a second. You guys gotta see these cats. These are like the most photogenic freaking animals. Let's see, where is a good one? Okay, we have this is Ember. Yes, she looks like she's up to no good because she is up to no good. 1 second. I'm on the stream. I gotta mute this. Hold on. Such a dork. My Dick Tracy watch. That's a dream come true from childhood right there. The old Dick Tracy watch. Anyway, so that's Ember and oh, here's both of them. Here we go. And this is Jasper, who is growing like they just fight all day. So he's doing like they're doing mixed martial arts together. He's really developing a lot of muscle. I think he's gonna look like one of those MMA fighters. He's so dense, it's ridiculous. Anyway, that's one of them is clawing on my door right now. But yeah, like I said, I gotta kitty proof my room. And in the meantime, they'll just have to wait. I don't really know exactly what these things are made of, but I'm assuming it's some kind of fabric and just following the lines that are here. I just got a message from my editor on Money Shot that I have another cover from Rebecca Isaacs ready to do. I am curious what it looks like and if I can show it, do it on stream. Some of these are questionable for YouTube. Shocking, right? Sorry. Oh man. Cat's doing cat things. Yes, that's right. Let's see. Cats are strange and they come out of nowhere with a sucker punch. I have a theory. Oh, Rebecca's doing some covers on Money Shot. Yeah. I have a theory that all cats are just energy workers. Like they're all just trying to fix us constantly. When they're like hitting you in the head, they're just like, "Look, you have a blockage. You need to address." Because I swear, I know it sounds insane, but like I do a lot of like Eastern meditations. I have a lot of body awareness these days. And I swear I have watched one of the Ember at least, like following the tension down my leg. Like, wait a minute, it's right here. Let me just, energy boop. That's right. I'm a big believer in the energy boops. Alrighty, what else? I guess let's do the skin last since I've done everything else so far. They simply look at us and say, "Dumb human, can't even unblock your chi pass." Exactly. I really do think they do that. Like, no bullshit. I really do. Yeah, it's been interesting. I'm in South Mississippi, and so there's the idea of any kind of energy at all. Like you really have to do some you have to do some convincing, right? But that's the cool thing with my work sometimes is I can like, if they're like, I don't really understand, and I'm like, all right, grab like the trap here and then like a hamstring on the other end. And I'm like, you see this? And they're like, oh my God. Like, and their legs got a hold of their head or whatever. Like, the way we are connected is not at all how we're taught we're connected on this side of the planet. I just wanted to say thanks. Your video really helped me a lot on the coloring process. Awesome. Which video? Is there a particular video you like? Cats always land on their feet. The force is easy for them to use. Oh yeah, that's what's interesting about Ember is she actually has some sort of like neuro thing going on that we can't quite place, but she's clumsy like in her like from the waist down. Like and there's definitely some tightness and I've done a little work, but it's all really deep stuff and it's like, cats are not usually like flopping around. Like they're very sure-footed and she's got a little bit of a disconnect, I think. And But yeah, she'll make it. She'll be fine. But there's definitely um, she is one of my patients sometimes. Alrighty. I don't know if I like that dark or not. Maybe not. Or that light. Let's tone it down. Alrighty. What else? Come on, clip. Work with me here. There we go. And a lot of this is actually, like I said, it's kind of like the middle lighting layer of the rendering. I'm going to do a brighter pass on some of this at some point. And so a lot of this is not even about the lighting as so much as just detail. It's just ambient lighting. It's not, it doesn't have a strong direction. You know, it's not like it's really harsh or anything. It'll make more sense because you're probably looking at this and going, all these values look very similar. Like, at least to me, they do in the thumbnail. But that's intentional because, again, like we're gonna pump up sections of it later. And again, this stuff is meant to be some kind of metal, I'm assuming. And so the highlights on this are a little bit more you know, specular, brighter, but smaller, sharper. Like that's kind of what sells something being metal. Alrighty. The video is on flattening, multiplying, and shifting the hue. Oh yeah, it really helped to get the hues right. Awesome. Before this, your head was spinning and confused about color theory. Nice. Sorry, I'm stretching my hand out. It's trying to cramp up a little bit today for some reason. Probably because I've been here 2 hours without only one break so far. Did you see the Arcane season 2? I have not. I have to watch that. Yeah, the first season of Arcane was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen, ever. And by drilling in my head, watching all those videos in person. Oh, thank you, Robert. Yeah, I appreciate it. Alrighty, let's see. So all that's left to do for the rendering on this is the skin, at least for this pass, the skin and this bit of fabric here. His which I'm assuming is some kind of badass cape. All right, let's do his skin, which is blue for some reason. Now this is probably my favorite thing to do, as I guess we've been drawing and coloring and muscles since as long as I can remember. Brightening up all these knobby bones and the knuckles. Really got to make these veins pop. I really, this reminds me so much of trying to understand when I was a kid. I remember realizing that he drew the veins without ever drawing the tube of veins. Like you're really just you're hinting at where it folds, you know, and it's just drawn very much like I remember all the. Was it Jim? Was it Jim Lee that did a bunch of? Somebody I used to read used to do a lot of vein. Maybe it was Venom. Maybe it was Venom. Mark Bagley's Venom. He would do those similar things. Gotta draw the gun show. Oh, by the way, guys, if you want big arms, the triceps are twice the size of the biceps. So work the triceps instead, or work them also, not just the biceps. You guys figuring stuff out? Is this all clear now? Everybody's an expert. Also, side note, I usually bring this up at some point, but don't be discouraged when you're like wondering why I'm fast or if this feels very fast to you. It's because it is very fast. And I've been drawing since I was born. I'm sorry. Let's see. Greg Capullo. Yeah, he was another one. They did a lot of the vein stuff. I used to love that stuff. Take care. Have a nice day. Yeah, thanks, Zed. Thanks for coming by. And sorry, I'm just catching up. Love Capullo. All the 90s kids in the chat. Yeah. Yeah, my average age of my viewers they're creeping up with me for some reason. Watching you do this helps me as an inker. If there's anything you would have wished I would have done to make it better, please let me know. Dude, like, nah, man, not at all. Like, if you're seeing something I'm missing, maybe, I mean, but no, dude, like, this is incredible, man. Like, it's really, really cool work. I mean, no bullshit. So yeah, this is gonna be awesome when it's done. It really is. And Gavin is still here. I've changed my mind. I'm quadrupling my price. His price on this. No, I'm kidding. All right, what am I doing? Let's see. I'm trying. That's not what I want to. Some shapes that I want to draw, they don't want to come out. Let's see. But yeah, we're gonna like he's gonna be just greased up, like he is ready for his bodybuilding debut. Do. When you overpaint it like me, then you blend it back in. Be like, nah, I didn't do all that stuff. Why is that not? Is that? Oh, I'm on the blender. I'm like, why is this not coming out? It never fails. When Clip is not doing something that I want it to do, it's always because I don't have it set to do what I want it to do. Yeah, there was one time I was working at a show appearance, and I didn't really know. I mean, I just thought I knew I was on the fast side, but I didn't know how fast when I when I was drawing, and I was sitting next to what is his name? Martin, was it Croker? C. Martin Croker. He's he was the voice of Zorak on Space Ghost Coast to Coast. I can't do the voice. He was an animator and drawer. He's an amazing guy. But anyway, I believe he actually passed away. Yeah, 2016. We were doing a it was like it was at 99 Issues in Mobile, Alabama, and it was just like it was like there was a con nearby coming up, and so the store owner just kind of brought everybody that over to this show to chill out at the shop and sign, do commissions and whatnot. And we were sitting next to each other, and this kid comes up and he's like, I want you to, I'd been drawing a bunch of just a bunch of little sketch commissions, and this kid comes up, he's like, I want you to draw the Joker riding the dragon from Pete's Dragon. I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I'm all over it, dude. And anyway, I like did a quick sketch and knocked it out like brush pen. I mean, it probably maybe took, I don't know, 15 or 20 minutes. Way less than that to even sketch out. And he looked over at me, and he looked again, and then he's like, how in the hell are you so fast? And I'm like, who is telling me this? I don't know if anybody's faster than animators, you know what I mean? Or voice actors, whatever it was that he was. But anyway, that's when I realized, okay, I'm fast by everyone's standard, not just mine. But yeah, very cool dude. Very cool dude. Notice also how much time I'm putting into the hands. Like as human beings, we notice hands and we notice faces first. And so we're wanting to make sure that they are nicely detailed. And yeah, he's definitely got a lot lighter than when he started. But like I said, this is going to be easy to shift around using levels adjustments, actually. And overlay layers makes it very easy. Okay. Alrighty. I think as far as a first pass, I don't hate it. That's the key. Don't hate it at the beginning. All right, so let's see what this looks like. I want to show you, if I open up a level, let's do a tone curve, actually. Tone curve. And I don't know why they make this like dark on dark, but you can see this spike here, okay? Like, so this spike here is all the black, all right? This is actually was in the drawing to begin with, you know, all of the ink from it. And then here are all of the midtones that I'm using, which is most of this. But I want you to notice how little that there is in this part of your window, because what this is saying is there are almost no bright values in this painting. None. Not really. I mean, the brightest thing on this page is still kind of a bright midtone. So what you can do with this, I'm not necessarily going to do this now, but tone curves are really nice for increasing the contrast. So if I pull the shadows down, pull the brightness up, like this is overcooked. I'm not going to leave it this way, but I'm just pointing out that it's a really great way to take, you know, existing values and really dial them into like what you want them to do. I'm just going to control where I'm going to do this, you know. So in this case, I'm actually going to select everything except the background. And I'm going to start by darkening it a little. And I don't really think I want my midtones to be very bright. They're going to be on the dark side also. Boom, boom. Over there. All right. I'm going to merge this down because I just don't, I don't want to deal with a bunch of layers on this. Where am I at? Right here. That didn't work at all. Merge visible. That works if that doesn't work. Did that happen? Did that do right? Yeah, I think so. All right, the other thing I'm going to do is take the background and I'm going to make another curves adjustment, except this one I'm going to brighten. And I'm only going to brighten it, I think. And again, for some reason, you can't apparently merge with layer below. Yeah, you can. I just hit the wrong one. I think I hit merge down or something. Anyway. So you still notice we've been here for 2 hours. He's still darker than everything behind him. I'm beating this point home for anybody that wasn't paying attention. The original plan of him being darker than everything else is still the plan. And the background is lighter than everything else. All right. We don't need that right now. So I would say, as far as like from a base value standpoint, I like where this is headed. I don't know if we want to introduce color just yet, because I have one more layer of detail that I want to do on this. But just for the sake of you guys trying this from here on out, I'm going to run through this real quick as just kind of a step-by-step thing. And then I'm going to go back and do some more details. But I want this to be in this video, and it's already too long. So right now we're working in one dimension of color, right? We're only working in value, okay? So the difficulty becomes, it's easy to measure distances between 2 points. You know, when you light and dark and you've got all the distance in between. We can kind of make sense of that. But when you start adding the other dimensions, you start adding hue, you start adding saturation. Well, now you're not making a 2D measurement anymore. You're making a 3-dimensional measurement. Okay. We can only show 2 at a time because that's all we can put on computer screens. But so what I'm going to do, I want to introduce one color. I'm going to introduce one color, and we're going to work with only saturation with that color. Now, you have to pick a color. Like, obviously, you're like, well, that's a hue. What, you can't have saturation without a color. But I want to add saturation as a tool next. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first put an overlay layer on top of everything, and I'm going to fill it with, what do I want this to be? Green? He's got a lot of purple on him. Maybe this thing leans green. Let's say right about there. Okay. Now, overlay is unique because it doesn't affect the brightest, doesn't affect white, and it doesn't affect black. It only affects everything in the middle, heaviest at 50% gray. Okay. So from this point, I can decide using only saturation. We could build an entire color palette on this from here on out using nothing but saturation. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the background, and I'm going to desaturate it. I'm going to turn it down. All right. So it intensifies the greens, right? And then if I choose, let's say what he's wearing, all this stuff. And I can saturate this. Now again, this isn't like good for this drawing. I'm just showing you an example of how, I'm switching color by accident there, but how much you can get in values, or contrast, I should say, using only saturation. So it's like if I turn his skin down, make it less green, you see how it starts to cool off and actually, like, it doesn't feel like green anymore, but there's still a good bit of, we got saturation differences, we got value differences. And so it's like I can make this entire drawing using nothing but that one color. Green's actually kind of hard to do that with. For this kind of thing, this might be better. Purple, he starts purple. So this is one color, right? Like, it's one hue. If I go and you see as I drag the color picker around, it's all one color. The only thing I'm doing is changing the value and the saturation. You know, so it's like if I take color out of his helmet or his head, what happens? It starts to feel yellow. Why is that? You know, because it's surrounded by all of these cooler colors, you know? But still, everything here is purple. So there's a tremendous range just within this box that you're looking at. Okay, literally challenge yourself to, I'll give you a quick example. Not that. I did this on stream for the other day, but just to kind of beat this point home. If this is my canvas, I can choose colors that are only within this box that I'm looking at. That's the challenge. Okay? I'm not going to move around the color wheel at all. I'm going to limit myself to just this stuff. All right? So I've got some saturated colors. I've got some mid-tone saturation colors. Maybe we add some brighter stuff. This is abstract. It's not meant to be anything in particular. So if you were to look at this on a, you know, in a painting on the wall somewhere, and it was only these colors, does it still feel limited? Because to me, it doesn't feel that limited to me in the palette. But all of this is orange. Even this is orange. But see how cool it looks? Cool, not like cool daddy-o, but like cool, not warm. So this is working in 2 dimensions. I'm using value and saturation only. And this is an absolutely killer exercise because if you can make your palettes work without ever changing the hue, then it becomes very easy when you get time to add another color, you know. So by the time you add another color, it's like, think about how bold that is compared to everything else that's there. Because now, everything else on the canvas is technically orange. Technically. And so whatever I do is going to really stand out. So again, like I can weaponize this and create my entire palette by only starting with one color. Does it make sense? If it doesn't, go back and watch it again. So anyway, this actually doesn't look bad. Like I dumped this on here, like not thinking it was gonna look this cool, but the point is, get used to working with one color, and so that way when it's time and you're like, I want to add another color, then you can do that in a way that you're adding it one at a time. You know, it's like, so I want to add a really warm, like intense color back here that is going to like really make everything else on this thing pop forward, right? Like, do we dare do pink? But yeah. Oh, blue looks cool too. Yellow looks cool too. It doesn't. All of this stuff looks good. Why? Because the values are there already. Anyway. Voids are burnt oranges. That's right. Alrighty. Anyway. Where was I? You guys get the idea. All right, I'm gonna get in here. This is actually, it's a little dark, so I'm going to, yeah, I pushed this a little too dark. Oops, go that way. There we go. What's too dark? I don't know. It's hard for me to say. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that we do that kind of rim lighty bright thing from one side. Maybe I start this at his head and go from there. I'm going to do this on another layer. I'm going to call this highlights. And I'm using Ron Chan's side pencil, which is available on his Gumroad for free. But it's got a little bit of grit to it, but it's got a nice texture, and it will really pop against all of this other stuff that we've done. Oh, it's gonna look good. It's gonna look good, guys. I'm sorry, it's gonna look good. I don't know why I just turned into Matthew McConaughey all of a sudden. All right, all right. Thanks for mentioning the brushes. The comments will ask about that, but thanks. That's right. And I'm trying to be very what's the word? I'm trying to keep this pretty scarce. Like, I don't want to just overblow the whole thing with light everywhere, but it'll make a really great highlight though. And this is just, I'm actually just using white, like, and controlling how much of it is going down. What's that guy? He's got a short name. It's like 2 4-letter words. I don't know why I think this way, but he's a digital painter. Here, no, what is his name? He does painty stuff for Marvel. I want to say there's an E in his name. I'm really giving you guys a lot to work with. When will we see you making your own paintings again? Around the same time I'm working on my comic book. It's yes, it's the one, I don't know how you say his name. ESAD RIBIC. Yeah, I think that's, no, it's not him. No, it's not him. It's crap. Give me a second. He like, I mean, he paints. Paints. It's not like, it doesn't look like comic art, and it's God, it's gonna bug the stew out of me until I figure out who it is. Um. Anyway, that's the vibe that I'm going for, and I will maybe figure that out by next stream who who that guy is. Yeah, I know I didn't give you guys a lot to work with there. Sorry. I want to say he did like an oil painting with David Finch one time. Anybody that follows his stuff too? Yeah, that's the guy that did Jason's Thor. It's not him. He's amazing, but it's not who I'm thinking about. Um he does a lot of like, I know he's done a bunch of Moon Knight paintings. Um that doesn't really narrow it down though, does it? Everybody's done a bunch of Moon Knight paintings since the show came out. But I'm hoping when you guys get to the end of this video, whether you're a colorist or an artist, like you should be able to see like that hopefully it takes some of the mysticism out of it. I love hatching. I love hatching. I'm liking this, guys. I'm liking how this is coming together. Looks like some kind of hieroglyphs or something on this. I'm trying to get those to make them look even more ornate than they are. EM Gist. That's it. I knew it was 4 letters. Or Gist. I don't know how you say his name. That's him. That's him. Thank you, whoever that was. Yeah, I'm gonna link this guy. Where is his? Oh yeah, I was trying to find all of his stuff. unreal, but I'll show y'all one of these. There we go. Yeah, he does stuff like this. So it's like it's super painted to the point there's almost, I mean, there's not really even lines in it, you know. I'm always blown away by this kind of art in comics, but yeah, just like again, not stylistically, it's not the same. We're not doing the same thing. The art's not the same. None of it's the same, but it like the vibes are what I'm going for. Similar vibes, anyway. I don't know, the scale of my hatching here is so small. I don't. It's gonna be. It'll look like just detail when we back off of it, but I'm probably a little too close right now. And I'm kind of trying to follow the contours and like create a little bit more texture of like what the bones might look like. And because they're organic, like it all helps. I really like how this is coming though. We're not even in color yet. Do 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 do. I paint every day and still feel lost. Seeing it broken down has helped a lot. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And you'll notice that I'm not just like perfectly tracing every bone, like going all the way down. Like I'm letting it fade out. I'm making it harder in some places. And all of that stuff gives it, like it makes it look a lot more natural than if you just start like I'm going to robotically color the light on the left side of every, you know. You don't have to work that way. I actually feel bad how dark some of this is because it's hiding more of what Roland did than I would like, I think. I might have to turn this back up a little bit later. Man. This thing is a lot. Whose idea was it to do all this detail? Whose idea was this? Oh, it was mine. Dang it. Absolutely relaxing seeing this guy working while hearing some lo-fi. Yeah, there you go. Ronaldo Quintero. I have followed that guy for a long time. That dude's done really well drawing pretty ladies. um, my stylus dip stopped working, so I configured the end that's supposed to be used to erase to paint. That it wasn't that straightforward as it seems in CSP. No, it's not. Sorry. Sorry, I'm stretching a little bit. I might need to take another break here in a minute. Remember, oh yeah. Do you prefer coloring tighter line work or looser, sketchier drawings? It depends on what I'm in the mood for, I think. Like sometimes like really simple drawings can be very powerful and very like, you know, really fun to do just because like their shapes can be very strong and like I like trying to punch up even simple stuff, but this to me is really fun. Like I enjoy doing this, but to be honest, like I think Gavin will understand. Like I'm doing a tremendous amount more detail on this than I normally would for like whatever $100 cover. Like because this is like full on like basically painted, But he said I could use it on the stream, so at some point maybe it'll even out. But that's not my point. But no, the biggest thing is just what do you call it? It's a good drawing. Like ultimately, like I don't really care like style wise, like things can be whatever. But good question. I guess I don't really think about it that way though. But there's definitely artists that I prefer working with. I do think I had to learn to get better with sketchier stuff because of just naturally how I drew growing up was very, very clean, and I was a big Mark Bagley guy and Sal Buscema or Buscema, I don't know how you say his last name. And they were just like super, like, almost mechanically tight. Like, and I had to get used to, like, Bill Sienkiewicz used to just scare me as a kid. Like, what is this? And now I'm like, oh, I think he's freaking a god of drawing, So, so yeah, it all just depends on what you like. But I have I didn't talk about it very much, but in case you're watching this and you do want to learn more from me in a more structured kind of way, I I have courses on my website, learn.comicolor.com. There's probably a coupon in the description. I also have a Patreon and a YouTube membership thing, which I do feedback every month. I do a stream with everybody. They post their work. We go through it. We're nice. It's all learning. It's all in fun. So yeah, think about becoming a member or subscribe anyway. But yeah, think about becoming a member or a Patreon for like $5 a month. It's a good deal. All right. I really don't think you can beat this technique for detail in like speed, because this is ridiculous, to be honestly. I mean, we're 3 hours into this, so it's not like I just got here, but I'm impressed, if I can be impressed with myself, that this came together like this. I didn't like how this didn't really stand out enough. So I'm bringing this forward a little bit more detail. And like clarifying the shapes a little bit more. We've got the background and we've got a torso and we got a whole lot more to do. And I've been here for 3 hours and my arm is about to fall off. So, not really. It's fine. But thank you guys so much for watching today. I'm going to finish this one up with next time. We'll do this next Wednesday, same time. I did do a quick run through of like the color plan or a color plan and how you could use that on this if you did want to see that in this video. To recap, once you get your color stuff done, use an overlay layer on top under the inks to shift that towards your main color that you want that thing to be. And then from there, start shifting colors around. Pick the background. What colors it need to be? Do we want purple? Do we want red? Do we want green? Do we want something else? It's like there's so many ways we can go with this color-wise. They're all going to look awesome because the values are right. You know? You might also like gradient maps. If you're a gradient map person. Oh, that's the whole thing. Let's just do... Let's see. We got a bunch of gradients in here that are probably all not good for this drawing. But yeah, like they all are like decent because, again, values. Put this in color mode. For saturation? Nope, that don't work. Yeah, it all looks cool. It all looks cool because the drawing's cool. But anyway, we'll pick this up with more scribbling, more details. I'll zoom up and let you guys get a nice look at this. And there's the original right there. So there's our before. And there's our after for today. A little bit of progress. You guys see the difference here? If we squint, you can notice the subtle changes. Is this still coloring or drawing? Yes. Let's see. I'm always coloring my own work, so I never got to color a sketch or line work. I have no idea what that would be like. There you go. Sick art and colors. Brazilians assemble. Yeah, a lot of Brazilians today. Thank you for watching. Thanks everybody for being here. Check the links in the description. Click buttons, all that stuff. Really enjoyed working with y'all today on this, or getting to do this with y'all today. And next time we'll figure out how the color works. So take care of yourselves. We'll do this next week.